There are over 7 billion people on planet Earth, and while for some of us day-to-day life can sometimes get a bit repetitive, every now and then we witness some incredible things that we've never seen before, and it takes our breath away. These moments of truly unique intrigue fascinate and enthrall our brains, and get them tingling at the thought of new and unusual information. If you're the type that's just itching to find out what on earth is going to happen here, then stick around, and your curiosity will be more than satisfied. Ready to have your mind blown? Let's get it on! Extreme product testing. When you want to bring a new product to the market, one that you've put your blood, sweat, and tears into, you want people to understand just how great this new thing is. And in some cases, companies will take extreme measures in order to show off the incredible extent their products can reach. Plenty of companies probably produce windshields for cars, but how many of them have so much faith in their bulletproof windshields that their CEO will stand behind the wheel while his employee fires an assault rifle right at his head? Probably not many. If cars aren't your thing though, let's talk about something a little bigger. This remarkable producer of tank brakes went to the ultimate extreme by putting their whole staff of engineers in the path of a speeding tank, just to show the true extent of how quickly they can bring a raging metal behemoth to a complete stop. Whew, not gonna lie, that had my heart racing a bit. Bomb-proof suit. In the famous words of The Lonely Island, cool guys don't look at explosions, they turn their backs and then walk away. And pretty much everyone agrees that the less you act like there's a colossal burning fireball going off just a few feet behind you, the cooler you look. Unfortunately, as many YouTube videos have pointed out, in real life, the shockwave and heat caused by an explosion that big would make it totally impossible to look that cool in real life.
Completely ridiculous.
But apparently, Rostec in Russia wasn't satisfied with the famous movie cliche only existing in movies, and took it upon themselves to develop a bomb-proof suit that would allow the wearer to pull off this insanely suave maneuver. According to them, this next-level bulletproof suit can even withstand close-range ammunition explosions, and to prove its effectiveness, they had a model take a casual stroll through a live minefield, and the footage looks like something straight out of an action blockbuster. While the suits aren't in use yet, sometime in the near future, the Russian military is going to be looking like a bunch of movie protagonists on any battlefield they set foot in. Real-life Iron Man. While Tony Stark's high-tech suit might only be powered by CGI and movie magic on the big screen, what if I told you that this man decided to make everyone's dream of flying like Iron Man into a reality? While these sweeping shots might immediately seem like something straight out of the MCU, I assure you, there are absolutely no tricks at play here. These men are really flying through the air with jet engines strapped to their backs. While this activity might seem extremely dangerous from an outside perspective, well, actually it just is. Even with the years of flight training behind these solo pilots, all it takes is 1 second for a critical failure to turn these awesome adventures into miserable misfortunes. Still, that only makes these unbelievable scenes of human fighter jets soaring over landscapes so gorgeous they just have to be green screened all the more breathtaking. Behind the scenes. Everyone has probably seen some sort of incredible skateboarding videos. But when you take a peek behind the curtain and see how these extreme shots are filmed, you'll be amazed in a whole new way. While it might look insanely impressive to see these tricks landed, witnessing the work that goes into capturing these shots will change the way you look at the world. While on the surface, it seems like this skater's just nailing this massive 360 kickflip, there's actually a load of modern movie magic going on here, with a whole crew making sure these dangerous stunts can actually be landed without any real risk to the skater. While it might seem like an unfair trick at first, taking another look at the finished product really makes you realize just how much work goes into producing these big budget productions, and I'm sure it's something you've never seen before. Back for sale. everyone's always trying as hard as possible to get some extra cash, and some people have found some, let's say, creative manners of acquiring some side cash. Enter Tim Steiner, the man who literally sold himself, or at least his back. While I'm sure you're thinking, isn't that kind of illegal? Well, not in this very specific case. An experimental tattoo artist paid Tim to be able to use his back as a living canvas, working over 40 hours on this intricate work of ink. He then managed to find a German art collector to actually purchase the piece for $150,000. When Tim meets his end, the art on his back will be cut off and preserved under glass like a real piece of canvas. While that might seem a bit morbid, Tim is totally on board with being part of this artistic experiment. Plus, the 30% cut he got from the deal didn't hurt. Longest town name. Names are kind of an unappreciated invention. You have one, I have one, and everything you can think of has some name, so it's easier for us to know what we're talking about. But in the case of the longest town name in the world, which is, let's just let this person try to pronounce that.
Salvar posquingis gogera chwyrndrobl Santisilio gogogoch.
Whoa! He absolutely nailed that. Well, in the case of this Welsh town, it almost seems like the idea was to make talking about the town actually harder. At a whopping 58 letters long, which is about the length of the last sentence, has stood a fascinating factoid since its founding in the 1860s, attracting tourists who come to the sleepy little town to take pictures in front of all its intricately made and incredibly long signs placed all around. The name is actually a descriptor of the local surrounding, meaning the Church of St. Mary in the Hollow of White Hazel near the rapid whirlpools and the Church of St. Tacilio and the Red Cave. But if you ask me, that just doesn't roll off the tongue as well as...
From Llanfair Pwllgwyngyll go get a chwindrobl Llantacilio go go go.
Yeah, that. Money art. There are a few things in life that people go crazy over. Among the most enthralling for many are money and art. Now imagine what you could do if you found a way to combine the two. No, I'm not talking about the high-class world of art dealing. I'm talking about the experimental artist Mark Wagner. Mark is something of a criminal artist, as it's actually illegal to destroy American currency. Still, that doesn't stop his incredibly intricate works of art from being highly sought out. That and how totally unbelievable it is that such detailed pieces are made exclusively from $1 bills. With art supplies costing what they do, this method might actually be cheaper than having to buy materials. Bike graveyard. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to live in the post-apocalypse? While movies might give us a glimpse of what directors think it may be like, you can actually get a pretty eerie idea without needing the full collapse of society. In China, bike-sharing startups have come and gone over the years, distributing over 20 million bikes by 2015 alone, with that number only ever climbing. Of course, when these companies go under, bicycles don't just disappear, and in several cities across China, they've ended up in the disturbingly still bike graveyards. Photographer Wu Guoyang has made a career out of filming these creepy acres of metal refuse in the style of post-apocalyptic films, showing the world the dark side of the sharing economy through these dreary images of piles and piles of discarded bicycles. I bet with a big enough cleanup effort, you could turn these depressing mountains of bikes into millions of very happy holidays for kids all over the world. Stratolaunch. This is the Stratolaunch, the largest plane ever to exist on the entire planet, spanning an insane 385 feet across and taller than a 6-story building. Watching this mechanical marvel fly seems like it can only be a result of some CGI trickery, but rest assured, this behemoth is the real deal. While the narrow dual cabins might not be the best for transporting people in style, they're perfectly suited for transporting cargo into space. That's because the Stratolaunch is a high-altitude mega vehicle designed to bring down the absurdly high cost of transporting cargo into space. So not only is this thing visually impressive, it's a major advancement toward moving our society into the spacefaring age. BLACKBIRD. You know those car commercials where the promoted car is driving in some scenic landscape without a hint of any imperfection? Well, what if I told you that all those cars were actually all the same? No, it isn't some transformer from Cybertron. It's just a marvel of modern technology. The cars are actually completely computer generated, projected onto this roving contraption here. This is the BLACKBIRD, the star of pretty much every car commercial you've ever seen. Through motion capture and CGI techniques, the BLACKBIRD's path is tracked, and yes, incredibly, CGI has come so far that you can't even tell that these cars aren't really there. I mean, they look totally real. Amazingly, it isn't just the outside of the BLACKBIRD that has these practical applications. The inside is currently being used to generate VR experiences of what it's like to drive all kinds of modern cars, making the process of car shopping way easier and cutting out the need for visiting car lots. Amazing the things technology can do. Car tires made of ice. If you've ever had the misfortune of having to drive on icy roads, you know just how frustrating and downright terrifying they can be. Thankfully, we're a pretty ingenuitive species, and the engineers over at Lexus thought of a brilliant and honestly beautiful way to handle icy roads in style. Who cares if the road is covered in ice if your tires are too? Custom freezing perfectly molded tires like this required casting them in an environment that was 30 degrees below zero for 5 whole days, resulting in incredibly hard ice that also had the quality of being perfectly see-through, creating a ghostly effect as though the car driving on them is floating on nothing at all. While the ice cubes in your freezer might crack when they touch a glass of water, these super durable crystalline tires can support the 2-ton weight of an SUV without so much as a fracture. Let's just hope it doesn't heat up too much while you're riding around on these. Psst, hey, you still there? Well, since you made it this far, here are all the shoutouts we promised everyone that commented on our previous video. If you want to be shouted out in our next upcoming video as well as the ones prior, just make sure you're subscribed to the channel and leave a comment down below saying, "Pick me." Once you're at it, you might as well leave a like too.